Hey, this is part two of my interview with Dennis Clark. This man has lived more excitement than most people live in 5 lifetimes. In part one, he started off by talking about growing up in an abusive family, joining the Navy, getting into Naval Special Forces, wrapped up in a Portuguese man of war, almost dying. Then he moved on and talked about being a police officer, some other work. Now we're wrapping up with some other stories that he's got, threatened by the mob, and starting multiple businesses. He's sold multiple businesses, share some of the wisdom that he's learned over a lifetime of business. And I'm excited for you to learn all the things Dennis has to share. Let's jump in.
But they said, "Hey, Buck, you ought to join the sheriff's department. We could use you in our reserve department. You know, we need some direction over there." I said, "Oh man, you don't want me. Well, it turns out I joined. They accepted me, and I got in. And first 6 months, I worked shifts at the county jail because you have to learn the language. So that's where you start. And all the bookies, or the newbies go to jail first. Learn that.
Yep.
And then I worked on the street for a while, and then pretty soon I had my own unit driving, a patrol car. But I was 7.5 years in the COCO SO, they call it, Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office. But I went through the ranks pretty good there, had a pretty outstanding record. The last 3 years, I think I worked on the patrol boats up in the Delta because of my Navy experience.
Oh, right.
When I ran all the Mike boats for the Navy frogmen, see? Mm-hmm. So I had a pretty good gig there. And I think 7.5 years I spent in the Sheriff's Department. I did whatever I could to pay my rent to support myself.
Yeah.
I had no income. I had my little distributing company still selling soap. I had to sell 1 gallon at a time because I got paid cash for that. If I sold a case for $38, I'd done pay 30 days. I couldn't wait 30 days because I didn't have any money. I'd go down and buy bottles one at a time, plastic bottles. Then I could buy a case of 12, Wow. Then when I bought a van, I could buy 2 or 3 cases and put it in the van, see? But I did, I bought glue. I had a tape machine with a wheel and water in it that you pull the tape to it to get a whip. You don't run a manufacturing line with a tape where you pull the tape off by hand, It doesn't work too well.
Right.
I finally got one where you hit the button, zip, and the tape shot out. Man, I still got it. Yeah, and I got one that you hit a button and it cuts you 18 or 12 or 20 piece. Bam, 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 you could just really go,
Yeah.
Every time I did something like that, I was so proud that I made the next step. But I still had to fill everything by hand. I didn't have a hoist. I had no fork. I lift those big 600-pound barrels up. I made a sling out of cable, put it around a rafter, and then pull it up with it. Come along,
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I was hoping I wouldn't pull a wharf in. I'd get outside the table and set it back down, filling 1 jug at a time, see,
Yeah.
But that's just, my first order was with Nally Foods up in Tacoma, Washington, and it was 25 cases of rubbing cleaner, $12 a case.
Okay.
Now, when I sold for Wellington Products, it was $38.80 a case.
Oh, wow.
Now, when I tried to sell mine for $12, I had a problem. You know why? It couldn't be as good because it's too cheap.
Oh, right.
I couldn't deal with that. I mean, what do you mean? It's just a lot better what you're using. And it was a better product. But it took me a while to convince people. Once I sold it and they used it, then the reorders came.
Yep.
But I went up. I went to Texas. I went up there. My office in Walnut Creek, California, in that orchard in the backyard. I went up there and met with Curtis R. Shelley, Vice President of Nally's at the time, and he gave me my first order for 25 cases. I was a rich baby, I'm telling you. Man, my competition was $38.80, and I'm at $12.80. I got off to $12.80 pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't working. They didn't believe me. When I showed them, then it was a different deal. But I couldn't do it all by myself and mix and fill. I put the labels on with a paintbrush and glue.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, I could
just doing what you could, though.
I'd show you pictures of what, my landlord, my rent was $12 a month, if I remember right. I was 2 months behind. And he worked for a phone company. He had a wife and 2 daughters. They came out and he told me, he called me up. I was out there on a Saturday when he was dozed off. He came out to the little warehouse had in the back there. And he came out because I left the power on since Thursday. And when he got through giving me a haircut, I said, listen, I've been here. I haven't been out of here since Thursday because I got an order to fill 25 cases. And I had to do it all by myself. I had to mix them, fill them, label them, wipe the bottles all clean, box them, case them, tape by hand on that tape machine that and then put them up so I can put them on a pallet and ship it, see?
Yeah.
I didn't have a forklift to put, I had to load it on semi-different,
Yep.
And when he saw what I was doing, his wife and his 2 daughters started coming down and helping me.
Wow.
I had to fill sample bottles, everything was done by hand with a spigot, turn this, boom, boom. I mean, I couldn't, when I got away to buy my first table and build it out of plywood and with 4x4s with legs, they would hold a 55-gallon drum, and I could buy the spigot, you could turn it over and hit them, and bam, I was in heaven. I'm telling you. But little by little, I put that deal together. I finally got a filling machine. I didn't know existed, and it was just a tank with a bunch of siphon tubes hanging in it, and you put the tubes in and fill it up with your product to a certain level. And when you take a gallon jug and set it in it pushed up a little piece and filled the jug up until it came to the bottom of that nozzle.
Oh, right.
And that would stop the flow. You could take it down, then the ball valve stopped and cut it off, and you could fill them, boom, 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 bam, bam. That's an automatic filler for me. I was big league, big league. I'm telling you. But that's how and when I moved out of Walnut Creek, I couldn't afford to pay my $12 a month rent anymore. I needed more space. I was getting more products. I was now buying the carbon off from a company in Ohio, filling them all by hand in a spigot, till I could get Joseph Ossog to help me make a formula. I finally got it done. It took me 5 years to get the formula done, see?
Wow.
And when I did, then that was another revolution. I met a guy that worked for Kmart as a store, one of the regional guys. I cleaned the Kmart equipment in the kitchen in Concord, California. He liked it. He gave me the name of the boss in Detroit. Little by little, I worked my way up through that ranks until I was talking to the guy by the name of Paul Swisher, that was a director of food service at the time. And I got several stores that I got to test in, but I couldn't get a purchase order through.
Oh, okay.
And when I finally found out what they were buying and what they were paying, and the grill cleaner they were paying way too much money for.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good as mine. And I knew the company that they were buying it from was down in the valley. And the reason they were buying it was because the purchasing guy that was buying it was getting a kickback.
Oh, gotcha.
And I figured it out, see. And so I told the vice president of the regional guy that I was working with, I said, listen, I forget his name now, but anyway, they were nice people. I said, you guys got a thief in your apartment, your purchasing agent, and nobody's going to get this business as long as that guy's there, because he's going to put 2 bids in every year instead of 1. And the one that he really uses, he's getting paid kickback from the factory on. And I know he does because I know what he's buying. I know the formulas. I got the product and tested it with mine. I know what he's doing. See, I did a little homework on that. I was learning. This is all I learned. Everybody I met taught me something in those days.
Yeah.
What I didn't know was that I didn't know. When I started learning it, and I kind of got a taste of it, I realized, man, I'm learning something from these guys. I can pay more attention. And that manifested and grew into where we were when I sold the company, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, I finally got frustrated and wrote a letter to the chairman of the board of Kmart and said, I want to throw your file in the can. And I wrote it just like that, because you got a person in your purchasing department that's a thief, and I know it, and I proved it to your director of food service. You guys either you don't know it or you don't care. And I'm tired of knocking on your door and getting everything turned in my face and no everywhere when I got a better product. The guy that was working in the field called me. I was at a food show in Chicago. This is fate. This is how things funny happen. I got a phone call from Paul Swisher, who was the director of food service at the time. And he said, hey, Dennis, the chairman would like to meet you.
Oh, wow.
And see what this letter's all about you wrote him. I said, well, and it ain't about nothing but the truth. He said, well, he wants to have dinner with you on Friday. If you can come up to Denver, he'll watch your demonstration in the store, and then we'll go from there. I said, I'll be there.
Wow.
I was at a food show in Chicago. I flew to Denver. I was due to fly back to Chicago on Friday night, though, for some reason. Anyway, I was booked on a DC-10 that left Chicago, lit in LA. I had to go down there for some reason or another. Anyway, I went to Denver, had dinner, we went in the store, and I cleaned everything, and he said, wow, you're right, this is better than we have. And I said, and it's cheaper. He said, can you prove that? I said, yes, I can. I said, you got a bid coming up pretty soon. I'm going to give you 2 prices. I'm going to give you what I'll sell it to you. Then I'm going to give you another price, which will be the bid. Put mine I want you to keep this in your pocket till after the bids are done, and then submit this other one as a bid. And my price is going to be about 10% higher than the bid you actually take. The one in your pocket will be lower than the one you take, though. And he said, how do you know? I said, I'm just telling you. I think I know what you're doing.
Yep.
And so we did, and he did. And he says, if you're right, you come to Detroit, and I will go through purchasing with you myself and fire this son, and you'll get a purchase order. And I said, well, I'll be there. Sure enough, I hit it right on the button. And I went back there, and he went out the door. Procter & Gamble went out the door with their stuff, and I got the whole deal.
Wow.
And it was worth a lot of money. I mean, my first order was $80-some thousand, and I had $51,000 worth of profit in it. And I didn't have the money to make. I didn't have the raw materials, nor the money to buy raw materials. I went to the bank to borrow the money. The banker, and he's arrogant. Actually, he told me I made mistakes in my numbers. There couldn't be that much profit in this thing. He, people don't know sometimes what you're talking about.
Right.
And sometimes you're best not to tell them.
Sure.
You're selling a lot of the stuff. You're selling water. What made my product better than somebody else? I bought the best wedding agents and all that I could buy, versus what my competition bought. That was meza, see. And they put it all together. A $10 jug of product that you're selling for $38 costs $2 to make.
Wow.
And that's what they were doing, see. And so there's plenty of room to share. You don't have to be greedy. Well, I showed him everything. I went to the bank, showed the bank my numbers. He wouldn't owe me any money. Said I made a mistake. I wanted to hit him in the nose. And in those days, I was really easy to convince to hit somebody in the nose. I didn't care too much, I didn't have a lot to lose. And we learned a lot about hitting the nose when I was in the Navy, see,
Right.
Anyway, the order was $80-some thousand. There was $51,000 worth of profit in it. I borrowed $10,000 from a lady friend of mine's mother. And when I got paid when that check came in, we got that order filled. When that check came in, I took her down to the Honda dealer, bought her a brand new car, and gave it to her for nothing. The car was $3,300. I'll never forget it. I went to Reno at the first warehouse we shipped to, and I wanted to go see how my product got. It was in good shape, but we got the right boxes, everything was fine. It was perfect, and I was the proudest guy in the world.
I bet, yeah.
Man, I had no idea how big it was at the time. That was my first shipment. $81,000 purchase order. I'll never forget that. And $50,000 profit, or 51,000 profit in the deal. Yeah, I was real.
That's playing in the big leagues.
Yeah, I didn't know what I got into there, but I knew it was good.
Yeah.
It took me 2 years of fighting that deal to get it, see.
Wow.
They do business different than everybody else. They pay cash for everything.
Wow.
You sell something to Kmart, you go to the pay window, they get it like you get paid in the Navy. They're all employees get paid cash. They don't get checks. I said to Paul Swisher, who wound up being the boss at that later on, at the head of the whole deal. He said, Dennis, we pay everybody spend part of that money before they ever get out of the store. But you went down to a pay window and you got paid cash. I had to take so much product to every store by hand delivered, about a half a dozen stores or whatever, and within 100 miles or so, to make sure that the program worked, because I put a program together for them that I thought would work, and it did. Then I got the whole chain, which was 2,500 stores. I had no idea what I got at the time, or I would have done it differently. I did it. I got by with it. Everything was cool. And when I sold my company, I still had that business. But the guy that stole my company, in 1996 or 97, somewhere when I went in the hospital, I had some surgery, my best friend stole everything I owned.
Wow.
Put me in bankrupt about $800,000. My company was worth about $3 million at that time. And I lost it all overnight. Stole my brand new truck out of my driveway. I mean, my best friend, I put his name on a checkbook. Don't ever do that. See, I put him on his primary account because we were starting another account. We were going to start another business, building warehouses and lease them and so on.
Oh, okay.
I was going to help him come up in it when I was in the business,
Yeah.
We had 2,600 Kmart stores by at that time. Within a week after he stole my company, they didn't supply him anymore. I took care of all that for him, see.
Wow.
And Cisco and everybody else that we had at the time. We were doing, I don't know, about $3 million a year just with those people, see. Nice little business.
Yeah, that is.
But all the stuff that happened along the way that made that happen was a whole new world for me. I didn't know how to deal with those full line of buyers and freight people. I didn't know. My first freight shipment came in from LA to Oakland on the Greyhound bus.
Right.
I didn't know anything about freight companies. I still got the receipts and stuff. I don't know why I say what I did. I look at them every once in a while now and say, wow.
Yeah, I bet.
Where did all this come from?
Right, yeah, all these
from those days,
things, Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of the story. How it got to where it is today, and I'm having some issues with these lines I'm changing now. I'm taking my product line. And because of a favor that I did for my attorney, which did a favor for me when I started my company, after everything was sold and I started over, I had to go to all the friends that I knew because I didn't have any money left. And everybody helped me get back in. They did everything except loan me money.
Oh, okay.
They opened a lot of doors. I just had to go through them and then take those on the other side and turn it into something good.
Yeah.
And thank God and the grace of God and these wonderful people, we made it all happen. See, to this day, I'm still blessed with meeting new people all the time, learning something every day from somebody, Now,
back in the 2000s, you were still rebuilding from losing it all, right?
Well, I lost it in 2090. 1997, I think, was the year that he stole everything from me.
Yeah.
I got started back up again pretty quick, but it was really hard. I went to work. I couldn't get a job anywhere.
It's hard after you run your own business.
Well, who's going to hire me?
Right.
I got an attitude about power and priorities and doing things right and wrong and being fair, unfair, and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I caused a lot of trouble for a company that they'd hire me as some guy down the line. I'm moving up the line pretty quick. I'm outperforming everybody ahead of me. They're not going to want me down there. They're going to figure a way to get me out of there somehow, and there'll be a serious problem coming up.
Right.
I decided that I'm not ever going to find it.
Well, now let's go back to about 2001, because you have an amazing story. When the Twin Towers got hit, you were in New York, right?
I was in New York. I'd been to the Kentucky Fried Chicken seminar the night before in Atlanta on Monday night. When that deal finished up on Sunday, I flew to New York and met my fiance at the time. And we went to Long Island, stayed at the Marriott there, and did some stuff the next day. The next night, when we got up on the next day on Tuesday morning, I think it was, if I remember right. And she was a playwright.
Oh, okay.
And an actress and a movie star, and just in the big league, and did playwrights and stuff. And I was going to we were going to Toronto to look at a theater for her. The Japanese people come and was going to buy one of her playwright deals.
Wow.
And I was going with her up there to maybe buy this play, this stage for sale, or whatever it was, a building and all that, or help them buy it, so they could do the play up there and da. So we messed around, had a bunch of dinner and so on. On the way to the airport the next morning, I see she says, she called me Daddy. She's, Daddy, look at that smoke coming out of the towers. What's wrong? And I said, oh, somebody flew a small airplane, must have hit that. And then I was watching it, and I thought, not a small plane, not that big smoke screen coming. So we were on JetBlue. We were on the plane, sitting in the seats, and I pulled a TV. They had first TV deal back in those days. And I turned it on, and when I heard what they were talking about, I said, yeah, that commercial plane hit that tower. And it was done on purpose, they're talking about. I said, let's get out of here. We were already on the plane going over to the western city of New York now. Anyway, we were going to go there across the border into Canada and then do this deal and meet the Japanese, da. And I said, let's go. Let's get off here because they're going to lock this airport down.
Right.
We got off the plane. She went and got the luggage, and I went and I got the last rental car they had. In those days, I had a little trinket that I used to travel with. I did a lot of traveling.
Okay.
And I was a travel agency.
Oh, okay.
That was my business card.
Yeah.
So I got the last rental car that was available. And we got the luggage, and she met me in the rental car deal. I knew all these airlines, and these are all the people I knew from all the airlines.
Wow.
All the hotels.
Yep.
Rental cars. I got it all done. Special people. That's a lot of people. I knew a lot of people, say, in those days.
Right.
And I made friends with every one of them. And every one would help me do something if I needed to do something.
Gotcha.
I needed to go someplace, I could call the airlines, and I had the right name and the right person, so on, see?
Yep.
And I got deals done.
Yeah.
Was real comfortable, with that. Because I treated everybody good and all that stuff, too.
Sure.
But we took off out to Long Island, got the bags, got the luggage, got out of there. And in the rearview mirror, there were closing gates behind me with guys with guns, guards, and all that. We went out to Long Island and found a nice little motel back in off the boondocks, Got a room for a couple of days and watched this thing on TV unfold. It was a night. And her apartment, her house that she had, her little townhouse was right on 92nd Street, 4th Avenue, I forget now, but just a few blocks from Carnegie Hall, if I remember right.
Oh, okay.
Midtown, right in the middle of all this crap, see?
Right.
Or pretty close anyway.
Yeah.
And so I said, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of New York. This is going to be a big deal. They're going to lock down the country. I know with my Navy experience what this is going to cause. This is going to create a problem everywhere for Sunday. And the public doesn't have a clue what to do except run.
Right.
And they're going to steal, take everything they can. There'll be no hotels available. There'll be nothing. The roads will be blocked for no reason at all. They'll be doing something if they block the highway. So I give $400 to the garbage scow. and because the mafia deal in Alameda, California, they own the garbage company, see? I knew how these guys played their game. My memory. People I had known and met, what they do. I knew the right boys to talk to at that garbage scout. So I gave him $400. I went across from Long Island to Connecticut.
Oh, okay. So you went from Long Island to Connecticut.
Yeah, I went. Connecticut, I think it was Connecticut. Yeah. From in here, somewhere on this Long Island here. I crossed over here and went down over the mountains and down into Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Her girlfriend was married to an attorney for the mob. I didn't want to spend the night at his house, but we did. Spent a couple of nights there. Went out on the town. I was nervous as a long-tailed tomcat in a room full of rocking chairs, I'm telling you. I was not comfortable with this deal at all. I just knew too many people, you know. That was a real piece of luck for me. I rolled the dice and I got lucky there. I had nothing, I looked at it from the standpoint of value. I had nothing of value to lose other than it'll be a guy that don't like me.
Right.
And he'll forget about me in a week. I'll be gone because he's a big guy, you know.
Right.
Paul Swisher made sure that I was at his home for dinner with the president of Coca-Cola, president of U.S. Steel. I'd go back, he'd say, I want you to come over to the house for dinner tonight. Now we've got some people I want you to meet. And he introduced me to all these people. For what reason? I had no clue, see. Well, every company on the planet almost uses a chemical of some kind. Whether it's the steel business, Coca-Cola, they got to clean those machines with something.
Right.
And you know, a lot of that's run by the underworld today. You know, the first thing we were going to do is get into the car wash business, okay? Supply the car washes. That was a logical one. I had a facility to do it. I had to increase in volume of deals. Paul said, let's go for that one. All right. Boom. He hit that big rock door and said, Mabo. And, I don't need that. Goodbye. Sorry. Keep the samples. See you later.
Right.
Never talked to him again to this day. They said, you don't really want to be in that. You know, I got into the coin machine business one time. My insurance guy, I was on the board of directors of a company that printed Isogy boards, what they call it. They were plastic boards, not much bigger than this.
Oh, okay.
And you take the board and you put it in a rack over a tank, and the tank's like this, full of this liquid mercury kind of thing. The tank would maybe this shallow, but they would lay the board on here, and they would put all the pieces, all the electronic switches and buzzers and buttons and all that, and they all had a little wick sticking out the bottom. And they stick them through this plate, and that wick stung down on the bottom, and all these things. And when they had everything in place, they'd make a wave in that mercury, and the wave would go under that board, and it soldered everything at one time. That's how they get all the little gadgets soldered at one time. There isn't a guy doing this shit with it. Yeah, that wave. They make the wave just the right height. It just goes right along the bottom of that board, but it doesn't touch it, but it solders everything together.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is.
That's how I learned about that deal. The Ziggy board, they called it. Well, Ziggy made the first games came out around 1970, and they were big round plastic deals with a TV set. Put a quarter in, and planes and rockets fired it, boom, boom, boom. You know,
Right.
You know, a quarter in to run. They were in all the supermarkets and the dime stores. And well, I put that marketing program together in all those dime stores in the malls for them.
Wow.
And that's the first time that the machines were in there on a rental basis. We rented 3 square feet squares for $100 a month or something, instead of a piece of the take. Because there was no machines like it. All electronic today, it's all over the place. But there wasn't. This was the first one.
Yeah.
This was put out by the boys in San Jose. The guy that did Pong.
Oh, yep.
He's the guy that invented that deal. See.
Sure.
But anyway, we got the first, I think, 12 of those machines that were ever made. And my job was to put them in the Bay Area out there in Walnut Creek and the Bay Area in Oakland. And then take care of, make sure, pick up the money every week and quarters account. We had gallon cans, we collected the quarters inside the machine, you know. We put them in, I put them in Sun Valley Mall was the first one. And the buckets fell overrun with quarters the first week in 2 days.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You can put $800 worth of quarters in a gallon can. I can tell you for sure what it is. I've counted them anyway, okay, by hand.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then we started what was the name of that company? I have that business card someplace in here. But anyway, the machines called. I think we paid about $1,200 for them or something like that. They retail for about $1,800. Mm-hmm. But we had a dozen of them out, and made some. That's when I first. That was how another source of income I had. Well, I was building my company. See, but I studied all that stuff, learned all that deal. That's how I learned all over the area in my van, picking those quarters up, servicing machines. Well, we finally got a call from Vallejo one day. I put a machine on the Travis Air Base, I think around Sacramento, if I remember right what it was. I forget now, but anyway. They have contracts with these gaming companies. Every 3 years they renew the contract. They bid on it, And they fix the bids. The gaming guys, it's all mafia deal. They get the bosses each part of the Bay Area or Sacramento area, whatever. They go to a meeting, and they say, well, how'd you like your 3-year term in having that? Well, they did it. Well, what do you think? And then they would teach the next guy that there was three companies that had those coin machines in the Bay Area. And every 3 years when they had a meeting, one guy got the Navy bases, one guy got the Air Force, the other guy got the Army. They didn't bid against each other. Mm-hmm. Every third year, you got turned at it again, and you got them all. The next 3 years, you got out, and the other new guy got in. They might be a bid, but it was all fixed, and everybody. Well, I get a call one day from Vallejo, and my machine I put in Travis Air Base up there was in this guy's warehouse in Vallejo. Mafia boys.
Oh, okay.
I went to the guy called me and said, we got your machine, your coin machine, why don't you come up and pick up your money? I said, okay. Well, I got up there and met him. I went through the ring, the doors open, the front door to get in the second room. There's a big boss sitting in his chair behind his desk, and you're sitting on the couch with the legs cut off over here. So he's looking down at you all the time. Ask you how you doing, how you like the business? You sure you want to be in this business, You don't be in this business. Service is a big deal. One of the days you're going to come in there, it's going to be full of coke. Somebody's going to pour a bunch of coke down the coin slot. Geez, you got to make a service call to clean the thing out. You got to put a new coin counter in, all that, I said, yeah, we're just testing out for guys that make it, No problem. Well, he said, here's your check for your half. I said, he had to cut the locks off to get it out of there. Fine, no problem, I think it was $190 if I remember right. Mm-hmm. Thanks. You can pick your machine up. We're not through with the we're still playing around with it. I said, yeah, no problem. Until you have your truck drop it off at our place when you're done with it, They didn't. I never heard from them again.
Wow. And
I told there was three of us in this deal that bought into this. It cost us about $1,300 a piece, if I remember right. But we had a pretty good deal going on. I think we had 12 or 13 machines we had out there. It kept me with some revenue while I was doing the security guard with the circus at night, funerals on the weekend, and cleaning the kitchens, a mess I couldn't get out of, and selling soap all day long, da-da-da-da-da. But I told my partners, and there was three of us in that deal, I said, guys, the time we get out, oh, no, 2 liquors. I said, I'm telling you, the boys of Vallejo are going to be calling on you. You're not going to win. Now, you're going to have service calls you're going to handle. And they said, well, we'll pay you your share. I'll see you guys. Have a good time,
Right.
One morning I got a call from them. Man, you're not kidding. They had you take one of those machines, all you got to do is take Coca-Cola and pour it down the quarter slot. Now the quarter gets stuck in there, and you can't get it out there. You got to take the machine apart to fix it. Mm-hmm. That means a service call. Truck's got to go out there, take it out. It's sitting there idle doing nothing all the time. No sooner you get it fixed, and the next day there's another Coke in there. It wasn't long, maybe a sad they were out of it too. So about 3 months it took them. They got tired of doing service calls and some phone calls. They finally got the message. These guys weren't kidding. Yeah. Anyway, those kind of deals is what I did to get money to get going by.
Yeah.
My buddy, if you see it over there on the wall, that circle with the color in it below the Honolulu sign on the end wall.
Yep.
That's the California Association of Motorcycles. I had to go to California Highway Patrol School to learn how to ride a motorcycle. To get that plaque so I could run funerals when the traffic stopping car and all that.
Oh yeah.
So I did funeral guard. I did security work for the circus at night. Finally, I got on the boats up in the Delta in Northern California. Mm-hmm. Because of my Navy career with the UDT, I could run the boats, my sleep. I was up there for 3 years. I had a great racket up there.
Right.
A lot of fun. I liked the outdoors. I was on the boats all day. And it was a weekend job. Saturday and Sunday I'd be on the boats, Cool job, see.
Right.
And because I had my company, I could go if I needed to be during the week. I could, it kept me in money to pay my rent.
Right.
And to travel to sell product. And every time I got the first big hotel was the Hilton in San Francisco. They'd buy 25 cases at a time. Mm-hmm. You have no idea how much money that was for me in those days. Man, I'm telling you. Then I got the next hotel, and then the next one. Mm-hmm. you know, and little by little I got enough for, I could, I had one stall in that chicken house. I had the whole thing before I was done.
Wow.
Built a concrete slab outside for a loading dock. Bought my first 200-gallon blue mixing tank. Had a drill with a steel threaded rod on it. Mm-hmm. Made a couple of blades, ribbons, cut them up and mixed them. That was a big league then, you know.
Yeah. Now fast forward several years later, you're out here winning awards for all the products you've created. And
if you look over there, you see that picture with the balloon in it? Uh-huh. We had a booth. I got the booth in the San Francisco Food Show, my first one.
Okay.
And that was when we finished. That was the big. That's what we did for after 5 or 10 years in the business. We had that corner booth for a 20-footer. Mm-hmm. That was like 20 grand.
Wow.
The 10-footer was like $4,000 or $5,000 when I started. Mm. But I took these. I won these awards. I got there's four gold medals there.
Yep.
That was in 19.
That's 2001 on.
2001. Yeah. We took those are 4 products that I developed. And we received those gold medals for 2 years in a row.
Wow.
Out of all the products, out of 3,800 chefs in the world, mm-hmm. the Culinary Chefs Association, you can see my awards I get from them. I became on their board, and I won those 2 years in a row, see? I have the patent. I developed my golf club cleaner. You can see the club care box up there.
Yep.
That was a real deal. I made those to give away to corporate executives that played golf. Oh, okay. That was a big hit, you know. Mm-hmm. And but you know, people like Gordon Food Service in Michigan, it took me 5 years. They didn't want to talk to me. Finally, I got tired. He said, "Well," he said, "you're not going to quit, are you?" I said, "Well, you know, you really need this product." And I said, "We're going to be at the food show in this year. If you guys are there, you'd come by and see us. I'd like to get a booth in your show, and if we don't work out, then I won't bug you anymore."
Oh, okay.
So we set a booth up in their show, and my sister, that worked for me for many, many years, went over and asked to get some sales slips so that they could write up the orders when people are going to order product. The guy gave her 2 or 3 slips, and she says, "Well, can I have more?" He said, "Well, yeah, sell something first, then we'll come back." Yeah. So within 10 minutes, she was back for more. About the 3rd or 4th trip back, guys, "What are you doing over there?" She said, "Well, we need more sales slips." So he went over there with her and watched it. He stood back and watched it. You see what that sign says?
The most creative exhibitor, huh?
Yeah. Huh. Gordon Food Service, ID Division. This award, the most creative exhibitor. We sold thousands of dollars worth of products for them. Wow. Before all the purchasing department was over there watching us. The sales teams were coming there watching us. We sold hundreds of orders, you know. The guy couldn't believe it. Well, we became their biggest, you know. And just about, I'll share some with you right now. We're this close to redeveloping that formula. Wow. You know, the government's made us shut it down because it has methylene chloride in it. Mm-hmm. It took me 5 years to develop it the first time. I've been working on 10 years since I've been here now. And we finally got one that's working without the methylene chloride in it. Wow. We're close. Now, my chemist, he just got back in town. He's been on a little vacation for last week or so. And he's been working on it now for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. But we're getting close. My chemist that I did development of my nano stuff with, Joseph Vostok, came from behind the Iron Curtain under a bus with his papers that he stole out of the country. Now, I don't know how he got his family out, the rest of the history, but I met him through my insurance man. And he was a wonderful man, very, very intelligent. And he developed my first oven cleaner for me. And I asked him, I said, "Can you make one as good as this?" He said, "What if I could do better?" I said, "Well, can you make this one?" He said, "But what if I could do better?" You know, chemists are like chefs. You'll never meet a chef in your life that doesn't have the best gravy above any chef on the planet. They're all the best there is. Mm-hmm. And you don't ever want to contest that. You want to taste it and say, "Wow, this is the best I've ever had," see? Otherwise, you're done. Chefs, you're out of there. Right. That chef will never talk about you or want you back in again.
So what would you say are some of the biggest lessons you've learned after a lifetime of business?
Well, the biggest lesson I learned was that I needed to learn more. The biggest lesson I learned was how to deal with people, how to allow people to share. Everybody wants to give you something. Allow people to be themselves with you. Let them show you what they can do, no matter what it might be. If it's what you do, let them do it better. If they can. If they can't, thank them, and then you move on. Nobody's hurt, nobody's upset. You haven't hurt anybody, you still got a friend. But usually you'll find out people can do something better than you can. You just got to look at it look through their glasses once, and you see it a different way.
Right.
You don't always see things different when you look at it, you know.
So what are some other good lessons you've learned in life?
Oh, I don't know. You got to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, my friend Chaz Warner that just sold his company in Seattle, in Auburn, Washington. A year ago or so, we were talking about stuff, and he says, you know, Dennis, just as much fun anymore, is it? I said, you know, Chaz, you're right. See, when you have a situation that he's in, with 100 employees, and the regulations, the federal government, with transportation laws, packaging laws, labeling laws, man, it's a nightmare. And you get so many people with a badge. There's so many people with a badge today. They all want to be a cop.
Right.
They all want to have authority. And every one of them is a newbie when they start. And that badge becomes an infection with them, kind of.
Yeah.
You can't be pulling around. You can't be throwing that badge around. It gets you in trouble. And it gets a lot of people upset. And it makes things hard to do. Nobody wants to, no restaurant guy wants to buy soap. You go to a restaurant, I don't have time to listen to you trying to sell me some soap. I already got it covered. You know? Well, when I started out, I had a little colored box that was made for 45 RPM records. They were pink, blue, yellow, red, blue, beautiful little box with a handle on the top. Well, I had that box. I put a couple of rags in there. My sample bottles like this for spraying, you know. They were 8 ounces in those days.
Oh, okay.
And I'd go and sit down on the counter where everybody could see it. And I'd ask the chef, say, you know, I'm testing a new oven cleaner, and I'd like to have your opinion if possible, if you got a minute. And a dirty oven, I'd like to show you maybe a new way to clean it, or before we put a lot of money in something that didn't any good, can you help me out? People like to help people. They like to give you, like to do something for you, see? It's human nature. It really is. Yeah, okay, yeah, I like this. I'll look at that. Well, I knew I had them then, see?
Gotcha.
Usually I'd spot an oven first. If I didn't see anything that would work, I'd try a different approach, some kind, you know, try a different product, maybe an all-purpose cleaner, maybe a stainless steel cleaner. But I always went for the oven because you took an oven that was just brown, dirty, black, nice stainless steel surface underneath, a couple of squirts and it starts running, that grease just runs off. Gotta have a towel that's gonna be on the floor. Wipe it up brand new. Whoa! What do you got there? Where do you get that? Well, I'm just this as a sample. You like it? You got a winner there. I said, would you buy it if I could get it? Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to start production pretty soon. I'll get back to you. I mean, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Put it back in a box and walk out the door. Give them a call a couple days. Hey, we got product. Yeah, I'll take a case.
Oh, okay.
Bingo, you know. Go back and then check. Can I come by and show you guys how to use it? Wear a suit and a tie, cufflinks. Open an oven, clean an oven, and never get a bad dirt on you anywhere. Because there's a right and a wrong way. You take the racks out, you spray the back, the sides, the floor, then the top, from the back forward. If you do the top, if you do the floor, you got the top dripping on you. I mean, you make it so there's a right way. So you don't know the right way. Well, there is a right way. You know, you spray from the bottom up. Don't go from the top down. The last thing you clean is the door on the inside. You know, you can clean an oven when they're baking. You can open the door of a dirty oven, and demonstrate it on a hot oven when they're cooking pies in there. You're not hurting anything. Spray the door, wipe it clean, and you're done. That's fast. They're always dirty on the outside around the door. Spray that, boom, bam, clean, just that fast. They've never had anything like that before, see?
Yep.
And now you got the approval of the chef. Now, would you like some? First, where can I buy that? First thing, where can I buy that? Well, we're still working on it, but now that if we get approval, we're going to go ahead and make it. You think it's okay? Yeah, oh yeah, I want some of that. I didn't ask him I never said one thing about selling him anything, see?
Right.
I let him see his problem, and it's a problem because it wouldn't be dirty like that if it wasn't.
Yep.
Somebody isn't doing their job or it would be clean. I can tell when it's more than one day dirty, You learn all that. And all of a sudden it becomes easy.
Yep.
And then you sell 10 out of 10 when you stop. When you show that guy how it works, you got to sell. Then you can work into other products from there. Look at what it is. Look at the floor. Pay attention when you're in there. If you walk in a kitchen and spit and spick and span, you may want to say thank you and walk out.
Yep.
You're just taking up his time, and he's already got the problem solved, and you don't need to mess with him. He doesn't want to. He's got other things to do than to buy chemicals. That's all you do. See, it's that simple,
So just find the problem and let it sell itself.
Well, the whole key is set that box where everybody can see it in the kitchen, see what's going on, what's in there,
right.
And ask him for his help.
Yep.
Chefs love to tell you they're pros, they're professional people. They know everything about everything. So if he can help you with that, he wants to do it.
Gotcha.
Especially if it involves cooking.
That makes sense. Thank you so much for listening to an episode of Small Business Big Visibility. Hopefully you enjoyed Dennis and some of his stories and wisdom. And be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode.